I felt bad because I didn't have The Happening on hand, but there you go. There's book 2, The Happening. And I won't name who that is on the cover because it's actually a specific character who that is. And then book 3, which is Norm. So I really like the way those all turned out. They're really good. And it was funny for me working on The Happening because one of the conceits that I always had in the story is people having a difficulty with accepting that werewolves were real. Because, of course, we know, they're not real, are they? And, in book 1, Sam actually does a YouTube video of herself transforming. She calls it transformation. That's very Sam to just kind of obviously go that way. And she transforms and people don't believe it. They think, oh my gosh, great special effects. That's awesome. How'd you do that? How'd you do that? And that's sort of like one of the jokes that I carry throughout the series is that kind of dark humor of werewolves are right in front of people's eyes, but people are still having difficulty accepting and believing in them. So that felt to me very kind of postmodern, kind of how we are, the way of the world where people are, it's right in their faces, but they still can't fully accept that this is actually happening because it's so bizarre and so surreal. And so I toy with social media, kind of old school. And again, like I said, YouTube, ironically enough, is represented in there. But one of the things for me with that series is I carry through very specific characters, and I won't name names because, again, spoilers. I'm very conscious about not giving people spoilers. But there is an evolution of certain characters who started out in book 1 kind of a certain way, and then book 2, they're going through this, and then book 3, they're going through changes, which for a lycanthropic story, that seems required. And it's funny for me, having worked on that series, because they evolved in ways that I didn't necessarily foresee when I first started this. Because again, with the original effort, it wasn't intended as a trilogy. So it was fun to see those characters surprise me. And in terms of process, I'm just going to say that I don't do outlining. I am not an outliner. I'm what do they call a pantser, right? Seat of the pants. I like to write that way. I think it's more organic. For me, my story, any story that I write, there will be an idea. That's the kernel, like the seed is that idea. And then I just take off from that idea. Well, what next? What next? What next? Characters will coalesce around that idea, and I just let them kind of grow organically. And I personally, for my style, and again, there are people who love outlining, but I'm not one of those people. The trade-off, if you're not an outliner, is rewrites. You have to be able to blast through multiple revisions because it's not like flicking the dominoes. It's not like laying out all the dominoes and just going and watching them go. Like if you're writing more viscerally, more organically, part of that discipline is you have to make up for it in rewrites. So if you're somebody who is not an outliner, I hate the term pantser. I actually really hate that term. It feels condescending. But if you are a non-outliner, just accept that you will have to do revision work. Revision work is the lifeblood. I mean, any writer really should revise. If you're not, you're not doing it. You got to revise and rewrite. But often I've found when you're working on a story, you have that original idea and that idea flows and it's cool. But then it takes you into unexpected places. And the characters I've found always come up with more interesting ideas than, even though, yes, you're writing the characters, you're creating the characters, they come from you as a writer. I understand that. But I have a very curious relationship when I work on stories because the characters, they get lives of their own in the world that you've created. And in so doing, they come up with interesting solutions. And you think, okay, good one, nice one. Didn't see that coming. And that's part of, for me anyway, the fun of working on a book are those surprises that occur along the way. Just understand if you're non-outlining, you have a lot of revision work and rewriting that will occur. But I like that. For me, that's fun. I enjoy that process.